Bowl, and let's do some first impressions here, gents, before we move on to other things. Jeff, first impression, Kansas City, San Francisco, go.
Isaiah Pacheco, leading rusher in the playoffs. The guy's got 12 first downs, 254 yards. He is running on this pass-led Chiefs team. Guess what? They run that rock with Andy Reid in the playoffs. It has made a monster difference. The 49ers are going to have to stop it. They have not done a great job stopping the run in the playoffs. It's going to be a huge matchup.
Neek, what's your first impression?
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Spags comes out with.
Oh,
He's been impressive all season. He had a masterclass against the Ravens. He was deep in his bag. Steve Bagnola, what they call him, I heard. We'll see what he cooks up to stop this San Francisco offense.
Yeah, he was noticeably brilliant, I thought, on Sunday. Graziano, what's your first impression of Super Bowl 58?
Yeah, in part because of Dominique's. I want to see if the 49ers can get out to an early lead for a change. Yeah. They're down, they're down by 17 at halftime the other day. They're down by 7 going into the fourth quarter the week before. They had to come back twice. That's not how we think of them, and good for them for being able to do it. But I don't think they should take that chance again.
Yeah, and certainly not against Patrick Mahomes.
Bringing them back.
Hawk, what are you watching for? First impression, Super Bowl.
I'm watching how the 49ers plan to stop Mr. Travis Kelce Swift, because the Baltimore Ravens were perfectly positioned for it. They had the defense, they had the players, Cal Hamilton, an all-pro, and yet they could not stop him. The way that this Chiefs offense runs positionless football when it comes to Travis Kelce, his route concepts, and him and Mahomes' chemistry, it's almost impossible
Route
to stop.
concepts?
Yeah.
Travis don't run no route concepts.
That's the point.
He's just getting open. And Travis,
that's like backyard football.
That's like running route. There's no route. Get open, I'm going to throw it to you. That's the route concept.
Is it literally that simple?
yes.
It is.
You're watching them play, and it's like, what is that? That's a hook curl? That's like a corner comeback? There's a route tree with numbers, and he is adding and subtracting and multiplying them, and it's turning out to work out perfectly.
When I went to New England before I retired, and they gave me the plays, and I'm like, look at the plays, and I would look at Julian Edelman, Amendola, and Tom Brady run on the field, and I'm like, these aren't the same plays that I have in my playbook.
That's right.
That's where Mahomes and Kelce are, because they're not running traditional concepts. The defenses they're throwing against aren't the way that you would read it. No quarterback could do it, but they have such chemistry that Kelce can take his time, get open, Mahomes will buy time, he will put the ball wherever it needs to be.
It's never a run. The thing of beauty of that is, and this was the same with Gronk and Brady, it's not about speed, it's about efficiency. And it takes time to develop, and they allow it to happen, and then it's just like me and you.
It's a great example of what Patrick Mahomes has turned himself into.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about Mahomes, and I've said many times on this show, we try and show it, I say every week, like, this is a perfect example.
Man.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Every week he does one thing that in a previous generation we would have said that's the play of the decade. He does it every single week, and because he does the spectacular things, the no look, the left-handed pass, all that stuff, I think we overlook what is actually his greatest attribute, but it was very much on display, I thought, on Sunday. Patrick Mahomes is the best game manager in the National Football League. We have bastardized that term. We have turned it into something that it was not meant to be. To me, managing the game means winning from the quarterback position. He does that. Forget all the spectacular stuff. He does that the way the Tom Brady's of the world did.
I think you're absolutely right. And in that game, I don't want to take anything from the Ravens defense. They were outstanding. But I also recognize that Patrick Mahomes had 2 early drives that were successful in that game. And then he recognized that the Ravens weren't doing anything. And the only way that the Ravens were going to do something was with an interception or a sack fumble. And from the course of the rest of that game, while the Ravens defense was good, Patrick Mahomes didn't fold up shop. They were not taking any risk. And I think that's to your point. It's somebody who's secure in their place in history, someone who's not trying to prove anything, someone who's been there 1,000 times and knows the tempo of the game and knows what's needed. And then when they needed him to be special, you know what? And Bomani Jones made this point to me a couple of days ago, how Patrick Mahomes criticized himself when MVS couldn't catch that ball because he said, maybe I should have took something off of it.
Right.
He did. He took something off of it.
He caught it.
In that game, MVS, he actually meant it. And when we think about Mahomes being,
here's the play
right here where you go back to that drop MVS had, and Mahomes said, no, I'm not going to criticize him. I'm going to take something off of him. We talk about Mahomes like he is the modern day Jordan. There's a major difference. Jordan would have punched MVS in the face. Patrick Mahomes had his back, supported him, and adjusted to make it work for him. Our modern day Jordan is a little bit different.
I had somebody, a defensive coordinator, say to me late in Tom Brady's career, the thing he's elite at, his top skill is winning the game. Like, but seriously though, like whatever that is that week, and I think Mahomes has certainly gotten to that point where we're saying that about him. They remind me of those Yankee teams I covered in the early 2000s, like toward the end of the Joe Torre dynasty, right? They were still good enough to beat you if you made mistakes because they weren't gonna. Even if you had more talent than they did, don't do what the Ravens did.
Yeah.
That's why the
Queen Catherine Parr was the sixth wife of King Henry VIII of England. Her garters, embroidered with the entwined initials of H and K in gold and silver, fastened beneath the knee to keep her hand-knitted silk stockings smooth. Her linen coif secured her plaited hair into position. The Queen's smock, made from fine imported Holland linen, formed her principal undergarment. The Spanish farthingale was a cone-shaped petticoat, stiffened with hoops of bent wood. It could be worn with a hip pad, or have one sewn in. It was initially a fashion of the ladies of the Habsburg family, and was once favoured by Catherine of Aragon. In the 1540s, it was reintroduced into the Tudor court from the Netherlands, at the time under Habsburg rule, and Catherine Parr was one of the first to adopt it. Catherine was described as a lively and attractive woman, of small stature and graceful countenance. The kirtle was a sleeveless undergown, with a stiffened bodice, and a full gathered and pleated skirt. The front of the bodice was stiffened with buckram, a canvas stiffened with glue, and bents which were a type of reed. The kirtle was laced up either at the centre back, or at the sides with silk ribbon points. The bodice was laced tightly to the torso, its stiffness essential to protect the dipping waistline from forming a crease. This created the foundation of the fashionable silhouette. The kirtle had a bejewelled band around the neckline, decorated with gold ouches and pearls. This would remain visible when her outfit was complete. Tudor shoes of this period, for both men and women, were flat, square-toed and decorated with slashes or pinked. Women's shoes are rarely seen